Hello and welcome to the Special Response Diver Podcast. I'm Jordan Harvell, your host, and I am so excited that you are here. This podcast is brought to you by Special Response Diving International, where we know the challenges public safety divers face underwater. That's why we've created training and resources that can help them in any scenario they encounter so that every dive is safe and successful. Well, today I am super excited to be kicking this thing off with my co-host, Mr. Caleb Wishart. What's up, Caleb?
Hey, what's up? Great to be here.
Man, we're finally doing this, getting
finally,
the conversation
right.
moving along and just getting this thing started. So
let's do it.
Well, I really am excited because this is a conversation that we're gonna just keep getting louder and louder because it's not a conversation that isn't happening. This conversation is happening all over the country and among public safety divers. And that's the whole reason we're here. We're here to talk with, about, and for public safety divers. And there's this analogy I use when I'm teaching, like everybody's kind of got their own little pond and they think that their pond is the only pond that's out there sometimes. Mm-hmm. And we know that there are a lot of ponds and a lot of people, a lot of teams, and they're all doing their thing. But I think there's a lot to learn from everybody else's pond. I think there's a lot to learn from ponds like I know ours that's pretty dang big. Literally in Miami, I think we have more waterways in water than any other county in the country.
Yeah, I mean, we got all those canals and then we got all that ocean all around us. So there's plenty of opportunity for stuff to get lost in that water. And we've found...
And which means there's plenty of opportunity for somebody to go in and find it, which we've done for a long time.
Sure enough.
But as far as the, what we're trying to get across on this podcast is we really just want to help dive teams learn more and be more successful. That's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of Special Response Diving International. And we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. We'll talk about teams. We'll talk about leading teams. We'll talk about the practical training scenarios. We're going to be having some cool stories from dive leaders in different parts of the country that are doing this every day, all the time. And we'll hear about some cool stories.
Well, hey, do you remember your first recovery?
Oh, like it was yesterday, man. I was 17 years old. I was I had trained open water.
Okay.
Done my advanced open water. And then like a week later, I'm a special response diver. And I had done my training with SRDI. And so I kind of was like on that track to do that. I knew I was doing this. And then 2 weeks after that, I went on my first murder investigation.
Just straight into the deep end there.
Just right into the deep end.
No cars first or nothing?
We had found some stuff while we were training. Like we had found cars here in Miami. But I was actually in Lubbock, Texas, searching for a murder victim who had been chopped up with a machete and rolled into a tarp and dumped into a lake in like the middle of nowhere. And I still remember that. It was Buffalo Gap, Texas, which is just outside of Lubbock. And we searched for 2 days. The victim was not in the search area. So they weren't even entirely sure that that's where the person said they had dumped. They just said,
Do you mean the murderer might have lied about where they dumped the person?
I know. That's surprising. It's totally shocking. But it wasn't a total loss, I mean, we determined that it was not in the search area, but we did find a shotgun that was used in another investigation. It was a homicide investigation, and that was related to that. So it was good. My first time, I still remember though. You're going into the zero visibility, and there was like all these root balls from like the sawgrass that's growing kind of in the water, cattails. And they had recently like cut them all down to like the water's edge. And so you'd go through these decaying root balls and you'd like touch it and it's slimy and you're like, oh yeah, I touched it. And I
might be a hand. It's hard to tell, right?
I inhaled my regulator, which fun fact, you can still breathe through a regulator when it's down your esophagus. So I'd like pull it back out and be like, okay, I'm fine. It's just a root ball. And then, next thing you touch, you're like excited and freaked out all at the same time. But did that for 2 days. So, good for the mental fortitude, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
To just get right into it. Yeah, we'll talk about stories like that. Thanks for bringing that up. Well, we've been doing this a long time as public safety divers, but we've also been teaching through Special Response Diving International, where it's really all started as the National Academy of Police Diving back in 1988. And we've trained anything and everything under the sun in how to do this, how to find things underwater, how to do underwater investigations, from the CIA to the FBI, State Department, Secret Service, DEA, countless
all the acronyms.
All the acronyms. Think of an acronym. We've probably taught them. Every branch of the military, Special Forces, Delta Force. We've trained law enforcement in a local level, on a state level, and we've done so with fire departments. We've done parks and recs departments, the private sector. We've done city public works departments. Everything. Everybody has come through this training in some way, shape, or form. From different areas, and the whole purpose is just to help people to be able to find things underwater and get it out. And that's it. That's why this organization. And then we did kind of a rebrand in 2022 to Special Response Diving International, because it isn't just law enforcement,
right?
Which is kind of like one of those misconceptions people have. They're like, oh, it's police diving or it's recovery diving. Well,
but
yes,
the
it's
same
true.
skills apply to anybody who wants to find anything underwater.
Correct.
If it's a car or a murder weapon or a Rolex that somebody dropped when they jumped off their yacht, it's all the same process, and there's a market for it in the private sector just as much as in law enforcement.
Correct. And especially these areas in the middle of the country that are landlocked. So you think, oh, there's not that much need for it we're not next to the ocean or a big waterway, a river or something. But no, every pond, every little creek that goes under a bridge is a potential crime scene. People dumping guns and knives and all kinds of other contraband and that kind of stuff. So the need is there. The need is greatly there. And I think there's far too few of us for the need that exists in the country. But we just want to talk about it. And, we want to bring to light, some more of that goes on outside of your own pond. So if it's something that you've come across and want to share, then we'd love for you to reach out to us. We would love for you to connect with us, which you can do so by emailing. You can send it to podcast@srdiving.com. Or you can, if you forget that, you can always check back in the show notes, and we'll have a link there that you can hit us up on. And we'd love to hear your stories. We'd love to hear what's going on out in the country and other places that we aren't already training and teaching people. And if you have questions that you want us to answer, Caleb loves questions.
Oh, yeah.
So
or even just cool stories. Tell us about your first recovery, or maybe your first zero visibility search. Maybe we'll read it on the show. And if you have something that you want us to address, you run into a situation or a conundrum on your team, then please send us an email at podcast@srdiving.com, and we'd be happy to do our best to answer that and help out where we can. Again, that's our whole reason for doing this. This is just kind of an intro Get that conversation
episode.
Started, and to have a conversation, we got to have you chiming in.
Exactly. And that's what this is for. This is all public safety divers talking about and for and to public safety divers. Because really, let's be honest, all the other scuba diving people out there in the world, they think they know, but they have no stinking clue. Okay? They don't know what you're dealing with. They don't know, oh, yeah, I've been in dark water. No. Zero visibility is very different when you know that there's something out there that you probably don't want to touch, that you need to find.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of, deliciousness that goes on down there that's nobody really wants to deal with. But we're happy to do it. And we know that you listening, you're probably happy to do it too. And that's what we're here to do. So we want to welcome you again to the Special Response Diver Podcast. My name is Jordan. This is Caleb.
That's me over here.
We're going to see you on future episodes about all kinds of cool stuff. We are so excited you are joining us.